Hey everybody, Raymond here with another video. Trying a new camera today. I've got a Sony POV camera, point of view camera, so I can sit here and I can look at it on my phone and take a picture of whatever it is I want to do. So we're going to try this for a quick video and see how that looks. I figure it'll be an interesting thing to try. Alright, so what I've got here is I've got an assortment of things that I picked up at Radio Shack. Everybody knows Radio Shack had the big clearance items, and these things have been sitting around for a while. And some of them are actually really quite good. I've got this tip tinner and cleaner here that comes in a little tub that you can use. It requires a little bit of work to get it open at times. Sometimes you just got to stick a screwdriver in here and give it a little twist as you go. And once you get it opened, it's some pretty noxious chemicals, so you want to use it with some good ventilation in your workshop or basement. But what it's for is if you have a soldering iron tip that just has gotten grungy and has gotten to where it does not want to hold solder anymore, you can use this to help beautify it, help it look much prettier. So I've got this paste unit here, and the tip's pretty decent on this, but what I can do is I can take it down here and just put it in here and listen to the little sizzle. And now my tip looks really beautiful, nice. It's got tin and some ammonium something in it. It's pretty noxious stuff, but it works great. You can extend the life of your soldering iron tips and desoldering iron tips, which when you're dealing with paste and they're about $5 to $7 a piece, you want to be able to make them last longer. The next one is these alligator clips for your multimeter. Now with this, I can take my multimeter probes and I can just slide them in here and shove them down on there. And now I can go through and work on a cabinet. If I want to clip this onto ground, clip this onto 5 volts, and I could turn my multimeter on over here and have it registering volts, and from there I can put it in the cabinet and I can adjust my power supplies and not have to worry about, hey, am I going to short something out while holding these, while trying to turn a control. So these things work really well. The next one is going to be a kit that is a whole bunch of these. Now this kit's, I don't know, about 25 bucks or something like that. It was cheap when they were having their blowout sales. This kit is really awesome. So not only does it have smaller versions of those alligator clip wires that you can clip onto things, but it also has mini clips that you can clip onto IC legs. So if you want to check your power supply at a ROM on the board so that you can adjust it up for 5 volts at the ROMs. You also have micro clips that will clip on to surface mount chips. So nice and super small here. And that's in one side. And so it comes with this really nice pouch so you can tuck everything in and get it all out of the way. Next side, got a few more. And this is where it starts to get interesting. If you're looking at measuring current, you have to put the leads in line with it. Now, one of the things we have is we have this one that is a plus and minus on 2 different sides with a little insulator in the middle. So you can take this and shove this down into a battery pack, like AA's or C's or D's, AAA's, and you can measure the current draw of the device through those, of what it's pulling from those batteries. Next up are these. And they've got these covered for a good reason with plastic, because these things are needle sharp. These little guys right here will pierce through oxidation on surface mount components or flux on surface mount components. It'll get through battery damage, so you can check traces and check pads for continuity. Wonderful little item here. Next up, these are magnetic, so that if you want to check voltage on something and it's metal, well, then you can just stick it on there and measure your voltage. The last two are a little bit different. So sometimes you'll find circuit boards that will have headers on them, like the .100 headers, like this one right here. And I could take this and I could slide these right over top of that header and be able to test voltages on those. And then the last ones are .100 pins. So I can come over here to a breadboard and I can plug these in, and they will plug right into the breadboard so that I can measure voltages on that. And all of these leads just simply plug into your test probes. Now the next thing is some surface mount stuff that you'll need, and that is rosin flux. Now what I've got here is I've got what they call the paste style. Now I prefer to use the liquid, but you know, this was cheap. It was easy to get. Radio Shacks everywhere. But with this stuff, you just put this on the part that you're wanting to solder in, and when you take the little ball of solder on the tip of your iron and you flow it across the pins, this will help keep all of those pins from bridging together. It'll help make a nice, clean solder joint without peeking the solder off of it and without having problems with bridge pins everywhere. So flux is the key thing you need when it comes to doing surface mount soldering. And then the last one is this cheesy little bulb. And you know, if you need something to get started in desoldering, then hey, it's better than nothing. But it's a little bit of a pain to use. And let's go in here and heat up the solder here, and then you squeeze this and put it on there and just suck the solder out. It's not the best tool for the job, but hey, guess what? If you don't have a lot of money, you do with what you can. And it doesn't always work very well. You know, for some of these parts, it's easier just to heat it up and pull it out, and then use this to take the solder out once you get it done. Because sometimes when you go to remove this solder, it's just not easy. You know, the solder gets to where, you know, it doesn't want to. You don't have enough of it there to conduct heat through the joint. So, you know, nothing beats having a good vacuum desoldering iron. But, you know, hey, you work with what you got, with what you can afford, and try your best to, you know, do these things without damaging the board. So we got the old part off. So now I can tilt this up, put the iron on one side, the bulb on the other, and there, we got one clean hole there, so you can see through it. To clean this one out, you would just simply pull this out, dump the solder out, and then put it back together. Pretty simple. You know, it's just a few dollars, cheap, easy to use. You know, it's not as good as having a good desoldering iron like this one, where you can just put it on there, melt the solder, hit the button, and it's desoldered. But not everybody can afford this. It took me many years to build up all the tools that I've got in the shop. But, you know, part of this purpose of these videos is to show you some of the other tools out there, some of the other techniques. And with that, that's just a bunch of tools that I picked up at Radio Shack. I highly recommend that you get the probe kit. That one is just flat out awesome. If you don't find those, then you can get the alligator clips. They also make some of these in the larger clips that just have the hook to go around the pins on the chip, and they're about the same size as this. Those also are very handy if you can't find the whole kit. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed it, and time to hit stop on this POV camera. It's cool because it's remote controlled by the phone.